Let's play the Ilhan Omar Bernie Sanders endorsement video, and then we will allow John King to critique it. Here it is.
I am so proud to endorse Senator Bernie Sanders for president. Senator Bernie Sanders is the only candidate that has built a movement and continues to build a movement that transcends gender, ethnicity, religion, and we know that in order to take on Trump, we're going to need a unifier, someone who understands what the fight looks like, and someone who is ready to defeat him. I'm one of the people that was inspired by the movement that the senator has built. There was an America that I dreamed about. There's an America that most people believe in. It is an ideal. It's not reality yet. And he started the work of organizing for that America, and that has inspired me to get involved and run myself to help others also organize for that America. One of the amazing things I think about the senator is that he understands we have to find solutions to our greatest problems. We don't wait for what the poll numbers are on proposing a particular solution. The senator is the only candidate that is proposing a complete cancellation of student debt. The senator is the only candidate that is proposing to provide universal school meals. The senator is the only candidate that wants to make sure that we end our endless wars and will fight for human rights and hold everyone accountable regardless of whether they are an ally or a foe. The senator is someone who understands that our movement isn't just for few, it's for everyone. The senator is the only candidate that isn't about leaning a particular way, but being true to yourself and fighting for what you believe regardless of what the obstacles are. This is not just the fight for our lives, this is the fight for our democracy. This is the fight for a better future, one that we can all be proud of.
She mentioned it in that ad, but I had mentioned at the top of the show that she has introduced a legislation to provide free school lunches universally in the country. Bernie Sanders has introduced that same bill in the Senate. So that's something that they're working together on. But, folks, I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's great. But there's some people who see that it could be a liability for Bernie Sanders because, well, let's let John King from CNN tell you why.
The sources, that special guest is going to be Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's the freshwoman phenom from that part of the country, that part of New York. She's going to be endorsing Bernie Sanders. And I'm also told sources say that Ilhan Omar and Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Tlaib from Minnesota and Michigan, respectively, also going to be endorsing Bernie Sanders. So even if he's not a headline out of this evening, he has some headlines coming.
It's an extension of what we see tonight, a debate about not only who is going to lead the party, but where is the party going to go? Which part of the party is going to lead the party into the 2020 election? They are more of the younger, fresher face, more aggressive, more liberal, less compromising. Let's talk about working with Republicans. And one of the questions for Bernie Sanders has been in a very different race this time, can he find a lane to victory? There is no doubting his fundraising. There is no doubting the depth of his support across the country. But is it in the teens? Can he get into 20s? How do you win? That will certainly help him. But it will also, I think, Senator Klobuchar is coming in to join us now, have some of the other candidates say, wait a minute. Is this too far left? Is this too uncompromising? Is it too urban? Is it too internet? Does the Democratic Party need to find a broader audience? It is going to stoke the very debate we saw play out on the stage tonight.
Now, I can't tell if he's talking about the endorsement or if he was just talking about somehow Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren's policies are too urban. Now, he comes from Vermont, which is, a pretty rural state. I mean, Burlington is a fairly small city as far as this goes.
Burlington is where KRS-One
But if he's
emerged.
talking about, if he's talking about the endorsement from AOC, yeah, she represents an urban district. Is Ilhan Omar's district particularly urban?
Yeah, Minneapolis.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is.
Ish. It's downtown
Glib
Minneapolis.
is in Detroit. But how could a Democratic candidate win without there being an urban? Like, what Democratic candidate has won in modern times without winning urban centers? In fact, that's all that they earn. I mean, have you seen that GIF? Is that what you're digging for? The GIF. I mean, it's a weird twist of phrase, but maybe he wasn't talking about the endorsement. Maybe he was talking about something else. Let's go to John King on Twitter to get him to describe it. Please don't take a snippet and twist my words. I said they are leading new voices in the party, but also part of the debate we saw on stage tonight. Some candidates argue parts of the party are too liberal, too urban. What
does that mean?
Who was
literally never heard anybody say that phrase. I've heard, this is so disingenuous, and I'm going to actually defend Pete and
Well, he
Amy.
goes on to say it was a policy point, nothing to do with color. I don't know what the policy point is. What's too urban about the policies of the Democratic Party?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And people like Amy Klobuchar and Mayor Pete are talking about, like, in fact, you need to appeal to the urban areas of the Midwest as an example. Nobody is saying, including ones that I really hate, the future strategy of the Democratic Party should be. F New York City.
Mayor Pete, the voice of moderation, is a mayor of a city.
Exactly. There you go.
Dems to city, drop dead.
I mean, but this is just incredible because it's like they always reveal themselves in every conversation about Bernie. And I have no doubt, though, that John King, being who he was the person who several years ago was saying, like, Bernie just can't move out of the white rural base. That's a problem in the Democratic Party. So whatever it is, they're always going to lie and minimize about whatever it is that benefits Sanders. It's amazing watching people be surprised that people would endorse somebody who shares their politics. It shows how just childish and stupid so many people are in politics.
So
I think
weird.
to a certain extent too, this is the old not getting the youngs, right? Like where this sense of just sort of like, what he thinks is urban energy, right, whatever that means, is just like young people.
Yo, motherfuckers. This is Ilhan Omar. John King, step aside.
Like the rural-urban divide is something that, you can witness throughout history. And it's always either racialized or like they're worried about the cosmopolitans in the city.
Or Jews.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's always racialized.
Well, it would be one thing if Bernie's policies were extensively focused on only urban centers, but he's also got like a huge plan to help rural hospitals out. He's got all kinds of stuff in there.
He brought up Big Ag in the thing. I'm sorry. He is describing a debate in the Democratic Party, which has not been there. I mean, it's just has not been there. We know, and I don't care if you look at Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, the bottom line is, if Milwaukee has a higher turnout, if Detroit has a higher turnout, if Philadelphia has a higher turnout, it's a different election. I mean, but aside from that, like he's sort of superimposing that urban thing. I will say this: back when I used to do voiceovers, way back in the early '90s, you would get like a voiceover reads like a little more urban. We're going in a more urban direction. And that was their euphemism for saying black.
Yo. Sam Cedar here for T-Mobile. Do you want to have a super fresh cat phone?
Yo, what's up?
Oh my God.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm sure you got that direction a lot.
Wait.
By the way,